So we're here to talk about stress, the stress that you have in your job and your life, and what we're calling this is a stress response. So as we talk about these things, what we've learned as we've gone through business through the last 20 years is that we've learned that a lot of the techniques that we use in business, we found that we use them in our personal lives, and it seemed to really help. So what I'm suggesting, since we do have stress in our lives, as we talked earlier, what I'm suggesting is that we go through the 5 steps. And we've selected the 5 steps mainly to try to help us focus on eliminating that stress and getting in balance and the well-being that we're trying to affect. So the first step is to look at your ego, and I'm sure none of you have egos, right? None in the crowd have egos, not at all, right? I didn't think so. Well, what we need to do is look at the ego, and the first thing you want to do with an ego is not take anything personal. Even if you feel like it's a personal attack towards yourself, it's really nothing personal, because it's just it's an emotion, it's a response, an effect of something trying to protect you. The ego says, hey, I've been down that road before, I don't want to get hurt. Those are the kind of things that the ego does. So it's really, and a lot of times you hear people talk about the ego, that you need to eliminate the ego. I suggest that you need to keep it because it's trying to protect you, but you need to be aware of it and understand what that means. So just to keep in mind, if you get that thought and it seems like it's personal, don't take it personal. Think about it, hey, it's just something trying to help preserve you. Step number 2 would be awareness. What you need to do with awareness is you get that thought, or you get that sense that you're getting from the ego, and how does it make you feel? What is it making you? What's it making you feel? How do you feel about that particular item? How does it make you feel inside? What's the emotion that you're going through? And just be aware of it. I'm not asking you to do anything about it. Just be aware of it. So you have the thought, and you're getting this awareness of how it makes you feel. Step number 3 is allowing and accepting. And in allowing and accepting, what we're trying to say is, as you get that particular thought or that ego, that stress that come on you, just accept it. Don't try to fight it. Anything that you try to resist is going to cause you problems. It's going to cause you more stress. It's just going to make it worse. Have you ever tried to grab something, and the harder you went after it, the further away it tried to get from you? It's the same response, right? We're trying to get to the point where we can stop the resistance, and that includes all the anger, the negative emotions that you have. And that's happening. Just accept what it is, and then the next question would be, what are you going to do about it, right? So the next step would be step number 4, which is alignment. So with this solution or a response that adds value, we're looking for a response that's going to add value to your life, something that's going to be positive. Something that hopefully, as we talked earlier about goals and objectives, hopefully your response is going to be in with alignment of your goals and objectives of what you're trying to accomplish. All right? And the vision that you're trying to accomplish for yourself. And then they come down to step number 5, and it's really about the choices. And ultimately typically you have 2 choices. You can either internalize it and make it about yourself, or you could look at it and see how it makes you feel and get a different response for that and make the best of the solutions. Another option that you can even use, and a lot of people suggest this in the Asian cultures, is that you just let it happen. Whatever it is, don't do anything about it. Just let it happen. Maybe it was supposed to happen. Maybe it's something that you need to learn from, and just go from there. Okay? Those are the 5 steps. And then, as you can see in this next slide, you have what we try to do is try to correlate the business into the personal life as well. And in the business, you have goals, you have objectives, you have a vision, you have a mission, right? If you have a business, there's something that you're trying to accomplish, right? And the vision is very important because you need the direction of where you're going to go. And then what we did within some of the tools that we use to help in businesses help make them better, we call them the process tools. And there's a process map. We have efficiencies. And this isn't going to work. And productivity. We talk about the different types of tools that you have that'll help the businesses. And what we said, a lot of these tools can be translated into tools that we can use in our everyday life too. And it really became apparent to me, like when things were happening in my life, and I would go back and say, hey, well, if I use the process map to try to align what I'm trying to accomplish, it would help me stay focused on what I was trying to do. And this is the same tool that we use in business that I would ask businesses to do in the consulting business. And a good example is I'm currently writing a book, and if you go into my writing space, you'll see on the wall a process map on the wall of how I'm writing the book. So it's just a good example. So what we said was, in the next slide, as you see, we have personal things that you talk about. You got personal things you want to talk about, your weight, your finances. Those are all types of things that you talk about in your personal life as well. And these are some helpful tools. For example, let's say you're trying to lose weight, and you go in and there's all kinds of opportunities to look at different diets, and you can name hundreds of them that are there. But really, it's all about a life change. It's all about changing your lifestyle. How are you going to change your lifestyle to make things happen in your life versus just doing the fad diet that's on the bookshelves at the time. So exercise, all those types of things, relationships, growth development, you'll have all those kind of things that you're trying to do in your life. So what we said is that, hey, these tools are really working well in the business world, and let's try to make some sense out of them going forward. So what we did is, in the business world, we have something that we call a key performance indicator, and we said we felt like that would be something very important to use also in your life. Is a key performance indicator is something that it indicates to you that you're not on track to where you need to go. A good example is like when you're driving down the freeway and you start running off the road and you run over that. That's an indicator saying I'm running off the road. I need to get back on track. So what we designed is some of the tools like that, but we've translated them into the personal life. And a lot of times when you're working on a goal, and it happens in business and personal, when you're working on a goal and there's always interruptions or distractions, something's always going, there's always a fire somewhere to put out, right? And these are indicators that, hey, this is something that we need to look at and try to fix. So we try to keep track of those. We have something else that we use in the business world. It's called a SIPOC. It's an acronym. It's a better way, and that's not going to work either. That's too big. It's a better way to understand who the customer is and what we're trying to accomplish. And in the business world, the customer is very important because they're the ones paying the bills, right? But in a personal life, the customer is you. You're trying to change your life. It could be, what am I trying to accomplish? And trying to be in alignment with God and what we're trying to accomplish in our lives to make sure we're on purpose. Process mapping. Process mapping is very well, like I mentioned earlier, about how the process map is helping me stay on track with my book. And you can process map, which is really an action roadmap for yourself in life. Total preventive maintenance is very important in the business world because you have assets that are very important to you, machines, people, those things are important. You need to maintain them and keep them in order. You have to do the same thing in your own life. You have a body that you need to take care of. You need to do the right things for your body and your mind to keep yourself focused. And then we have quality. It's called QCPC, which is quality control. Really, it's all about keeping things in quality. And what we're trying to do is ensure integrity. And when I say integrity, a lot of times you get the confusion about integrity, about telling the truth and not telling the truth. Integrity is, in this sense, is all about being whole. That's what I'm trying to say. So we use these tools to help us make sure that we're whole. And another tool that we use is a log, and a lot of times in business world you're keeping track of things, and we also feel like this is very important to do in your personal life too, to keep a log of what you're trying to keep track of, what you're trying to change, what's going on in your life. Because any decisions that we make, we always want to make decisions based on facts. So the facts are this is what's really going on. I mean, you could sit and talk about what happened in your day around the dinner table with your family and say, hey, this is what's going on, but then you made your story. That's really what's not really happening. So we need to take note of everything that's happening, because if we don't know what's happening, we can't adjust it and fix it. And as you can see in the slide, there's an example of one. So what this ultimately turns into is a dashboard. And a dashboard in the business world is something that's, if you would, it's like a dashboard on your car. We use it, a lot of our clients use it as it goes along the bottom of their computer screen, like the New York Stock Exchange ticket tape goes across. We have a similar thing that we call a dashboard, and we put the important information, the key KPIs, the key performance indicators that help us remember where we're going to be. And also, it's real important that we understand our boundaries, our visions, and then our desires. And we talk about in the book, I know you've all read the book. So we talk about in the book in chapter 1 about our boundaries and our visions and how we identify those and what are our limits in our lives. So we put those, and those are on your dashboard too, so you understand that what your boundaries are. And as we'll provide charts and data and graphs and possible solutions for those types of things as well. And as you learned in chapter 1 about desire, the desire is very important because it sets a direction. Just like a direction for a company, a vision, you have a desire that you have in your life, and you need to set that desire. Okay? And like I said, as we discussed in chapter 1. So, and then of course the action plan, daily, monthly. We'll just have to, depending on the personality and where you're going, and you may need to be told every day to make sure that you're on track, but then again, you may not to if you don't. So, and then of course in this in the dashboard we give a detailed summary at the end of the month. Let me get over that. I'm trying to sell something there. Okay. And then you can see from this chart the productivity is like we started. You got stress, you're rising, your stress is rising. And a lot of times, I don't know, this happens to me, I don't know if it happens to you, but a lot of times I'll get a thought, I get that thought, and then I just go with it. You know, I start developing the story, making all these things up in my head, and that's where the stress comes. You just start running with it. It's like jumping in a river and having the current take you under. That's what it is. So that's the thing we're trying to stop, and that's what this chart depicts, is that. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to talk about the productivity zone being in the center. And if you go through these 5 steps, we feel like that you can stay in that productivity zone because you're stopping, you're thinking about what you're doing, you're aware of it, you're looking for solutions that are in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish. So therefore you're in stress. Because anytime you're out of balance or that you're in stress is because you're trying to go after something that you're not supposed to be doing it, if you think of it that way. Okay? And these subsequent charts show that. So in summary, it's all about sustaining your business and you. And everything is a process. If you think about everything as a process, when you get up in the morning, everything is a process. You go through a set of steps to get through the door, to go out and get in your car and leave. Everything's a process. Processes are wonderful, but you need to understand them. You need to understand what value they're bringing to what you're trying to accomplish. You can have a process also, getting up and not taking the shower, and not putting clean clothes on, and then going to work, and then people don't want to hang around you, right? Because you stink, right? So you need to think about that. So just because it's a process doesn't mean it's good, but you need to look at the process, and this is where the process mapping helps to come in to understand that the process is aligned with what your purpose is and what you're trying to accomplish. I think that's it, really.